You don't lose power all at once. You lose it quietly, the moment you start explaining yourself to someone who never intended to understand you. At first, it feels reasonable. You open up because honesty feels strong. You clarify because you believe clarity prevents conflict. You share your inner world because you think vulnerability builds trust. And with the right people, it does. But with manipulators, something very different happens. Your words don't create connection, they create access. Your openness doesn't build intimacy, it builds leverage. And the most unsettling part is that this weakness doesn't come from insecurity, it comes from self-awareness. Many people who over-explain, overshare, or emotionally expose themselves too quickly learn this behavior early in life. Often, it began in environments where emotional safety was inconsistent, where attention had to be earned, where misunderstanding felt dangerous, where explaining yourself was the only way to stay connected. Over time, the nervous system learned a rule. If I explain myself clearly enough, maybe I'll be accepted. That rule becomes automatic. It turns vulnerability into a reflex instead of a choice. This is where hypervigilance forms. Your mind stays alert, constantly monitoring tone, mood, reactions. The brain's default mode network rarely shuts off. You replay conversations. You adjust yourself. You stay emotionally available because somewhere inside, being understood still feels like survival. Manipulators sense this immediately. They don't rush you. They don't pressure you. They let you talk. They listen quietly. Not to connect, but to collect information. They study your fears, your guilt, your values, your doubts. And because you value honesty, you mistake their attention for empathy. You assume the exchange is mutual when it's not. You're opening doors they have no intention of opening themselves. As adults, this pattern shows up in subtle but costly ways. You over-explain your boundaries instead of enforcing them. You apologize for emotions that are completely valid. You reveal insecurities early, thinking honesty will create safety. You attract controlling or emotionally opaque people who sense uncertainty before you say a word. You struggle with power dynamics at work and in relationships, swinging between compliance and quiet resentment. You leave conversations feeling drained, not because they were intense, but because you gave away too much internal energy trying to be understood. These behaviors are not flaws. They are coping strategies. They worked once. They kept you safe emotionally. But survival strategies have an expiration date. What protected you as a child can expose you as an adult. The shift begins when you realize that not everyone deserves access to your inner world, that privacy is not dishonesty, and that silence can be a boundary. Manipulators don't overpower you, they outweight you. They rely on your discomfort with silence, your urge to explain, your need to repair. When you stop over-explaining, when you pause instead of filling space, when you observe instead of disclose, the dynamic changes. Healing doesn't mean becoming cold or emotionally closed. It means becoming intentional. It means understanding that real trust is built through consistency, not confession. Through behavior, not emotional dumping. Inner child work helps you recognize who taught you that you had to explain yourself to be safe. Nervous system regulation helps you pause before responding instead of defaulting to exposure. You learn that you can be kind without being accessible, warm without being unprotected, honest without being transparent to everyone. You don't need to be fixed. You were never broken. You learned a strategy that helped you survive. And now you're learning a new one that lets you live with clarity and self-respect. The goal is not to hide who you are. It's to become whole enough to protect what matters and share it only with people who have proven they can hold it, without trying to control it.